Today, we find out how fast you can beat Pokemon Black and White with only Braviary. With the flying type getting a new form in Legends Arceus, I wanted to turn back the clock and have a look at the OG. The normal flying type has a base stat total of 510 with really solid attack at 123. Its move pool is nothing special, typical flying and normal moves, but getting Hone Claws early will surely help out. TMs provide a little coverage, so I think we have some tools to work with. Unfortunately, Braviary is part of the slow experience curve group, so if we need to grind, it'll eat up some time. Before we jump in, here are the rules for this challenge. They're also in the description down below if you'd like to refer back to them. And with that out of the way, let's kick this thing off. We make it to the first gym without any issues, so let's see how our fight against Chili goes. I went into this battle at level 11 since Braviary is pretty strong and I didn't want to waste time on unnecessary grinding. A pair of wing attacks take Lillipup down, but I'm actually surprised to see it'll be a 3-shot on Pansear. The monkey gets a few incinerates off and a workup, but after a potion comes out, we're able to take the win by spamming wing attack. Before we enter the second gym, we have a battle against N. He leads with a P-Dove and uses quick attack for the first strike. The baby bird survives my wing attack, so it gets one more quick attack off before dying to a second. Next is Timpole, so I decide to set up a Hone Claws, which Braviary learned at this level. Bubble Beam brings us into the yellow, but now I'm able to take out Timpole and N's last Pokemon, Timber, with a pair of wing attacks. Let's see if we can take Lenora down without any grinding. I open the battle with Hone Claws since Herdier has Intimidate. After getting leered, I decide to set up one more, but Takedown does huge damage to us. Wing Attack isn't enough to get a knockout, but we do get lucky and dodge a Fatal Blow. After Lenora's Super Potion, we're able to take Herdier out with 2 wing attacks, but Watchog outspeeds us and kills with Crunch. After grinding Braviary to level 20, I decide to try again. This time I'm able to set 2 Hone Claws up while getting leered once and dodging a takedown. Wing attack at +1 still isn't strong enough to kill us, so our defense gets dropped again. After Lenora heals, we're able to take Herdier down, so we're at full health for Watchog. I think at -2 defense, we're definitely dead to retaliate, but after a wing attack does 70%, Watchog opts for Hypnosis. The Chesto Berry I gave Braviary wakes him up, and we're able to secure our second badge on the next turn. Nothing exciting happens in Pinwheel Forest, so let's cut straight to our third gym battle. The only thing I'm a little scared of is Berg's Whirlipede using Screech turn 1, but after I set up a Hone Claws, it just hits Poison Tail. Now I can Aerial Ace the Roly-Poly for our first KO. Next is Dwebble, who Aerial Ace is neutral against. It lives 1 and connects a Smackdown, but it doesn't do all that much damage, and the Hermit Crab dies to the next. Last is Livani, and as a Bug Grass type, our bird is easily able to massacre it and leave Berg grieving. Before continuing to Nimbasa City, we have to battle Bianca and Sharon. Bianca leads with Herdier, who has Intimidate, but all I need to do to win this battle is use Hone Claws twice while tanking takedowns. Then I'm able to KO her entire team with Aerial Aces. Sharon's team is even easier as the only damage he gets is from P-Dove's Quick Attack and the Sandstorm. Liepard actually manages to survive an Aerial Ace, but then the sand kills it before it can hit me. This would usually be where I say we pick up Dig to face Elisa, but Braviary can't learn the TM, so I need to think of something else. In the Nimbasa Pokemon Center, they sell the TM for return, and boy is it a steal. If your Pokemon is at maximum happiness, this becomes a base 102 power normal type move. As a normal type himself, Braviary gets the same type attack bonus on top of this, making the effective power 153. With this move in my arsenal, I decide to take Elisa on. Turn 1, I set up Hone Claws as her first Emolga Volt switches into the second. This time she uses Pursuit for some reason, so we get a kill with Return. The other Emolga also decides to use Pursuit, so that's 2 kills and close to half our health left. Zebstrika is a speedy boy, so a single Spark is all it takes to white us out. I grind up to level 31 before challenging the model again. Honestly, it was really good luck that her Emolgas went for Pursuit last time, and in this battle they weren't messing around. She quickly handed me my second loss, so now it was time to see what level I'd need to be at to outspeed her team. Well, I can tell you this much. At level 37, Braviary learns Tailwind, and we still don't outspeed there. Tailwind doubles the speed of any Pokemon on my side of the field for 4 turns, so with that boost, we'll be able to win. But now I need to grind to get it. I developed a method where I would run near areas of grass until a patch started shaking. In Black and White, there's an 85% chance of these spots having Audino, which if you didn't know gives the 5th most experience of any existing Pokemon. This thing's EXP yield is the same as both Mega Mewtwo's and Mega Rayquaza, not to mention its own Mega form is number 3 on this list. Once I hit 37, it was time to take down Elisa. Turn 1, I still set up Hone Claws and her Emolga actually uses Pursuit. Then I get Tailwind up and get hit with a second Pursuit. The Flying Mouse uses Quick Attack before dying to return, but I end up on the wrong side of the 30% chance to activate Static, so now we're paralyzed, and before Gen 7, this means our speed is cut to 1/4 of what it would be instead of only half. Her next Emolga also uses Pursuit, and we're able to hit return for another KO. Zebstrika's Spark does good damage, but we're able to avoid the full paralysis and win the battle with one last return. After all that grinding, Tailwind didn't even come into play. There's another Sharon battle here, but it was really easy, so let's jump to Driftville City. I pick up the Rocky Helmet at Cold Storage, and after dealing with Team Plasma, I'm free to take on Clay. As a flying type, ground doesn't affect Braviary, so Clay's usual bulldoze strategy won't work here. Turn 1, I use Hone Claws and am met with a Torment, so now I can't use the same move twice in a row. Not a huge deal. A single return kills Krokorok, and now his ace Excadrill comes in. All I need to do here is use one Aerial Ace followed by a return to KO, but it does connect Rock Slide for a good bit of damage. Last is Palpitoad, but a single Aerial Ace knocks it out, netting us our 5th gym badge. There's a fight against Bianca here on our way to Chargestone Cave, but she didn't give me any trouble, so let's just jump to my next battle with N. I start this battle with 3 Hone Claws because N used Iron Defense to get to +2 on his first turn. After getting hit with 2 Smackdowns, I used Return and thank the Lord it does over half. Another Smackdown puts me at 29 HP and I still have 3 Pokemon to fight. Joltik goes down to an Aerial Ace and then Clink surprisingly dies to 1 Return. Well, I guess it's not that surprising, I am at +3 attack. Last is Ferroseed, which is always a problem because of Iron Barbs. Aerial Ace is enough for the one-shot, and we survive with 11 HP. Get me to a Pokemon Center. Now in Mistralton City, we need to go to Celestial Tower so Skyla will go back to her gym. I learned that on this floor, you can actually make the Psychics turn by pressing the B button, which is a really cool little tech so that I don't need to battle any of them. Anyway, I ring the bell and it's time to face the Flying type leader. I'm way above Skyla's levels, so Braviary is able to outspeed and kill her entire team just by using 3 returns. The next battle with Sharon is just as easy as he isn't even able to do damage to Braviary before losing. By the time I get to Brycen, Braviary is at level 48, so let's see if we can conquer our ice weakness. Vanillish dies to a single return, but Beartic is the Pokemon I'm really scared of here. It survives a return, but we're bulky enough to live its Icicle Crash, which means this one is as good as over. I use Aerial Ace as Brycen heals so that he won't keep stalling with potions. Then it's a return for the kill and Cryogonal goes down to the same. I backtrack quickly to grab the Sharp Beak and Silk Scarf before continuing on with the story. We know how this goes by now. Dragon Spiral Tower, Relic Castle, get the Dark Stone. As we're about to leave Issaris City, Bianca challenges us to another battle. Now she has a Stoutland, which could be pretty dangerous. We open with Hone Claws as the Sheepdog uses Retaliate. After our second, she opts for Work Up, but she should have kept doing damage. Next turn, we kill Stoutland with Return and Simisear comes in. None of her team members are bulky enough to survive +1 Silk Scarf boosted returns, so we easily take care of Bianca and move on to Appalucid to face our last gym leader, Iris. We're able to open this battle with 2 return KOs against Fracture and Druddigon. Side note, Iris's Druddigon has Sheer Force, but Drayden's has Rough Skin, so if I were playing Pokemon Black, I would have taken some damage here. Her ace Haxorus is actually able to survive a return and sets up Dragon Dance on turn 1. After healing, my next return does a bit more damage, but still doesn't take the dragon down, so Iris gets the opportunity to heal again. This time I high roll, so we never even ended up taking an attack from the last gym leader. The final rival battle against Sharon is damageless as we finally arrive at the Elite Four. Before going into the endgame, I backtrack to grab rare candies and also need to reteach Braviary a move. I go to Dragon Spiral Tower for a quick heart scale and then fly to Mistralton to the move reminder. While planning, I figured out I actually don't need Tailwind for any of these battles, so I replace it with the very important superpower. Also, for the first battle against Chantal, I'll need to replace Return with Shadow Claw. We'll also need Return, but since these are both TMs, I can freely interchange the moves between battles as necessary. After juicing Braviary up to level 61 with rare candies, it's finally time to face off against the Ghost Master. We open against Cofagrigus with a Shadow Claw that does around 75% of the mummy's health as it strikes back with a critical hit Psychic. Another Shadow Claw takes down the sarcophagus and Chantal goes straight to her ace, Chandelure. Now I need to set up a Hone Claws as Chandelure connects Payback for virtually no damage. At +1 attack, I'm able to Shadow Claw the Chandelier, Jellicent, and Chantal's last Pokemon Golurk for our first victory. Let's see if Grimsley goes as smooth. I reteach Return over Shadow Claw and jump in against the Dark-type expert. We open with Hone Claws against Scrafty, who actually gets a defense drop with Crunch. I need to set up a second Hone Claws and the Hoodlum Pokemon gets insane luck as another defense debuff comes my way. At least now the stage is set for my victory. I Aerial Ace Scrafty for a kill and then Crocodile comes in, dropping my attack to +1. Regardless, a Return takes the Croc down, but Liepard gets a decent amount of damage on me with Fake Out since I'm at -2 defense. After dropping it with Return, Grimsley is just left with his Bisharp, but a +1, 4 times effective superpower is more than enough to win us this battle. 2 down, 2 to go as it's time for Caitlyn and her Psychic types. I open with Hone Claws, but her Reuniclus is dangerous since it has Thunder. Of course it connects and manages to get Paralysis. Since it now outspeeds me, it lands a second 70% accurate Thunder to kill Braviary, and that's an Elite Four reset. This time after our Shadow Claw, Chantal's Cofagrigus uses Will-O-Wisp, but good thing I gave Braviary a Rost Berry. A second Shadow Claw kills, and here's Chandelure. On this attempt, it goes for Fire Blast and lands for decent damage after my Hone Claws. What's with all these low accuracy moves landing? After taking her ace down, Jellicent also gets one shot, but its Cursed Body activates and disables Shadow Claw. The only move I can use against Golurk is Aerial Ace, but it hangs on and uses Brick Break. Luckily, it didn't have anything better for me since it can't hit with Shadow Punch or Earthquake. After a few full restores, we managed to get the kill with Aerial Ace, so crisis averted. Grimsley goes pretty much according to plan, and this time Scrafty didn't get any defense debuff, so I'm free to face Caitlyn once again. After Hone Claws, Reuniclus lands another Thunder, making this thing 3 for 3. At least it didn't paralyze me this time. At +1 attack, the Silk Scarf boosted Return kills her entire team, including the incredibly bulky Masharna. Now it's time for Marshall, who's been a problem for us in the past, but I have a feeling this will be easy. Throw can't use its usual Bulldoze strategy, which causes such an issue against Sawk, so I'm free to set up a Hone Claws as we're hit by the very weak Payback. Now we Aerial Ace for a kill and Sawk comes in. Another Aerial Ace brings it into Sturdy range, and we get lucky as Stone Edge connects but doesn't crit. Since we're still faster, this thing won't be able to hit us again. Marshall wastes my time with a few full restores before the fighter finally goes down. After that, Kinkeldr and Mienshao get one shot with Aerial Aces, and we just have N and Getsis left. Before these last 2 battles, the game makes you catch either Reshiram or Zekrom, and they become the first Pokemon in your party. When the fight with N opens, I switch Zekrom into Panpour for a quick death so I can get a clean swap to Braviary. Now I set up Hone Claws, but N uses Reflect, which was the worst possible option since I'm only running physical attacks. I decide to set up another Hone Claws as Fusion Flare hits for 80 damage. At +2 attack, I use Return, but it isn't enough to kill through Reflect, and the Legendary fires off a Hyper Beam, bringing our bird down to 60 HP. I take advantage of the recharge turn to get to +3 attack, and after a full restore, Return is finally strong enough to get the kill. Reflect wears off, and I'm able to take Vanillux down with a single Return, but now Carracosta comes in, which is gonna be an issue because of Sturdy. I use Return to try to do some chip and kill on the following turn, but to my surprise, it almost activates Sturdy. A clutch Stone Edge dodge means we actually have a chance in this one. N doesn't heal the turtle as we kill with another return and the other fossil Archeops comes out. We're at a high enough level to outspeed, so I use a superpower which brings me to +2 attack and -1 defense. I need another superpower to take Kling Klang out, so now we're at +1 and -2, but N only has one Pokemon left. One last superpower is enough to take Zoroark down, and the crit was really just overkill. Now that we barely squeezed past the king, let's see if we can close this out against Ghetsis. The villain opens with Cofagrigus, but it's still a swap to Panpour for me. After taking a Toxic, I stay in so I can die to Psychic, and now the real fight starts. Braviary uses Hone Claws as Ghetsis actually opts for Protect, so there's a free setup for us. Next turn, I use another Hone Claws, and now that Toxic lands, it's a race against the clock. After another Protect from Ghetsis, we're able to KO his first mom with Shadow Claw, which I taught Braviary instead of Aerial Ace before N. Bisharp is next, so it's a superpower kill, bringing us down to +1 attack, and you can see how quickly poison damage is adding up. Buffalint dies to +1 return, but we're only left with 14 HP, and Ghetsis still has more than one Pokemon. We kill Electros with return, but then Braviary goes down before Seismitoad or his Ace Hydreigon come out. Since Zekrom is still in my party, I lose a bit more time here while waiting for it to die to Earthquakes. Obviously, this strategy isn't going to work, since if I let Braviary get poisoned, we don't have enough time to kill 6 Pokemon before going down ourselves. I consider giving him a Petra Berry to hold, but we need the Silk Scarf to guarantee we kill some of Ghetsis' mons. Then I find my answer. I really only needed superpower for N's team to deal with Caracosta, Archeops, and Kling Klang, but then things got switched up when Reshiram threw out that Reflect. The only Pokemon it's helpful for on Ghetsis' team is Bisharp, but if I get enough Hone Claws up, I should be able to take it out with return. After coming to that conclusion, I teach Braviary Rest instead of the fighting move, and now it's time to take the last battle on again. This time I have the party cleared out so Braviary can start us off with Hone Claws, and Ghetsis wastes no time using Toxic. Next turn I get my second Hone Claws up as Cofagrigus uses Psychic for decent damage. I decide to use my first rest here before poison damage stacks anymore, and we take another Psychic for 35 damage. After a Protect and a Psychic, we wake up and take our first kill with Shadow Claw. Ghetsis goes right to Bisharp, and +2 return is just shy of getting the one-shot, so we actually have to take a Stone Edge here, and luckily it doesn't crit. With 50 HP left, Ghetsis heals his Bisharp, and return again is just short of a kill. Without another full restore, we're able to get another return KO, and then Braviary proceeds to steamroll the rest of the villain's team with returns while outspeeding all of them. This run was actually pretty easy aside from the grinding that was necessary in order to beat Elisa. Being able to boost the power of return with Silk Scarf and Stab made it so Braviary never really had a tough challenge, and when that power wasn't enough, he could just Hone Claws until his attack was high enough to blast through. Shadow Claw and Superpower also ended up being really nice supporting moves that were definitely necessary in order to finish the endgame. With all that said, how does our bird stack up against the Pokemon we've completed runs with? Braviary clocks in at a time of 2 hours, 59 minutes, and 39 seconds, putting him about 25 minutes slower than Samurai. Interestingly enough, our Samurai run had a lot more deaths, but the experience group seems to really make a difference in these runs. I wonder if a Pokemon in the fast experience group will be able to beat Samurai, and who knows, maybe even crack the 2-hour mark. Braviary's 7 hours and 24 minutes of in-game time definitely feels good, but it took around 32 minutes of real time to grind between my first attempt against Elisa and the one where we finally beat her. That right there is the difference between currently having first and second place on this list. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like and subscribe so you don't miss out on future runs. Also, comment down below which Pokemon you'd like to see me attempt this challenge with next. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.